Hey guys, it's Jasmine, and I was absent for my February wrap-up because I may have been too lazy to film that. So, to make it up, I have made a wrap-up song which I'm going to sing in every wrap-up from now on. I don't have the instruments over this song because it's copyright. Go look up the song Fancy by Iggy Azalea and get the karaoke version, and then right when I start singing, you can just play that in the background. And it'll be just the same. So, there you go. So let's get on with the song and then to the reviews. First things first, here's a wrap-up. Watch this and we'll see what I read. And I'm still read more. I read 15 and the whole month of March. Right. You should want to read these books like me. Here's a small portion. Let's go see. Everless, Katherines, The Cruel Prince. All those got nothing on this. Love some, not all, might change that. Red looks like we bringing aliens back. Bring the books in, said would never fade at. Jazzy reading books, you should watch that. Hey guys, I'm back again. I hope you like that song. I came up with it. And if you add the instrumental to that song, it actually sounds pretty good. I'll leave the lyrics in the description in case you want to sing it yourself, because who doesn't? As you can tell by that song, I read 15 books in the month of March. I also saw 2 movies in the month of March, in case you didn't know. I saw A Wrinkle in Time and Love, Simon. So, A Wrinkle in Time, if you don't know what that is, it's about a girl whose dad is missing in time and she has to go save him. And I give that movie a B-. Because it was like really cliche and really predictable, and after they did all they were supposed to do, they just went home. No add-ons to it, and I was just like, that's it. So, yeah. B+. No, B-. And I also saw Love, Simon, and I love Love, Simon, in case you didn't know. But it follows this one guy who is gay, but no one else knows he's gay, and he starts communicating with another guy who also is gay, and then relationships and, like, coming out and all that great stuff. And I give that movie an A. I love Love, Simon. It's so cute, and then just, oh my gosh, my little reader heart. So the first book I read in March was The Wrong Train by Jeremy D. Quick. And I gave this book 3 stars, and it follows this, it's actually like really intriguing when you read the synopsis. It follows this one guy, he gets on a train, and then he realizes, oh crap, I'm on the wrong train. And then all of a sudden the train stops, and he gets off on that train, and then he sits there, and an old man comes up to him and starts telling him creepy stories. His dog. So it's all great, and this book, like, I wouldn't necessarily call it scary. The stories he told, they were like shocking and kind of weird, some of them. Shockingly, scaringly weird, but like not scary. Like, if you like suspenseful books and thrillers and scary stories, you'll like this book. The second book I read in March was War by Sarah J. Maas. And I gave this book 4 stars. This book was 4 stars. It was really good, but really slow paced. Especially in the beginning. The action doesn't like happen till like right there. No, right here. Then stuff starts to happen. This is all about, because this is the 3rd book in the series, but just know it's good. I still like ACOTAR the best, despite Tamlin. Everyone loves ACOMAF, but ACOMAF, I almost DNF'd ACOMAF because I got so bored at one point. But yeah, that's why I like ACOTAR best. But another book I read in March was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. And this book, I gave it a 4 stars, but now I'm thinking about it, I'm giving it a 3.5. Because I've seen these reviews about it, and they made me change my opinion on it. This book follows a girl named Jude, and she's not fairy, no. This book follows a girl named Jude, and she's a human, and her parents get murdered by fairies. Right? Just checking. Yeah, her parents get murdered by fairies, right? Yeah. Jude's parents get murdered by fairies, and she gets taken to the Court of Fairies, where all the fairies live, the fairy realm, whatever you want to call it. There are a bunch of names. And there's this one fairy that is super mean. His name is Carden. And people like Carden, but I don't like Carden. And Jude hates Carden a lot. Like, don't even with me. She hates Carden. And yeah, it's all about how Jude is human and everyone else is fairy, and the fairies and humans, not the best relationship. And so she's kind of excluded, and she wants to be like them because who doesn't want to be like a fairy? And so, yeah, she wants to be like them. So, this book is 3 stars because, I don't know, Jude really creeped me out as it got on, and I was like, a little too much. And Carden, I don't get people like Carden. So another book I read in March was Obsidio, and yeah, look, it's so pretty. Look at that. And I was so happy when this came in the mail, and I was like, I get it when everyone else has it. And this is the 3rd book in the Illuminae file, so I can't tell you that much about it. But I gave it a 4 stars. I liked the ending, it was good. So another book I read in March was Meet Cute by Jennifer, Donnelly, Katie, Jocelyn, Huntley, Nina, Emery, Catherine, Cass, Julie, Meredith, Sarah, Nicola, and Evie. Those all authors were a part of this book, and they all have last names, but first names are easier to pronounce than last names, so that's why I did that. And I gave this book 5 stars. I just love romance. That's why, because this book was like all about romance, and like, this book, it's a collection of stories all by authors, and one story is one by one author, and some authors paired together to make a story, and they're all about the meeting of 2 people, and there are different genders, like girl, guy, girl, guy. And I like the diversity in this book, and the meetings for like, oh my gosh. And some meetings, you like wanted so much more to happen, but it was only the first meet, so yeah. I recommend this book if you love romance novels. So another book I read was Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta. And this book, I think I gave it 4 stars. It follows a girl, and her mom abandoned her on this road called Jellicoe Road. It's like a long strip road, like, you know, like a strip road, you know? And her mom abandoned her there. And it talks about how she wants to meet her mom and figure out why. And, hold on, what's this thing? And it's a lot about, you know, growing up, and yeah, and there's also a guy named Jonah Grace. He's back in town, quote, moody stares and all. And yeah. But yeah, this book was actually really good. It was really realistic. So yeah, I recommend this book. It's a coming of age book. That's what I would put it in. So yeah. So if you've seen my When You Finish a Book series video, you would know that I finished the Darkest Minds series. And I finished Never Fade and In the Afterlife, the 2nd and 3rd book. I can't tell you that much about it other than they're great. Never Fade is a bit more slower paced than The Darkest Minds, but once you get into it, it's really good. And In the Afterlife. These are my book bays. Like, I gave this one 4 stars and this one 5 stars, but the series in total would get 4.5 from me. So I really recommend the Darkest Minds series. So another book I read in March was An Abundance of Katherines. Just kidding, Colin would hate me for saying that. It is An Abundance of Katherines. Not with the K, not with the C. Oh God, never a C. Don't even go there. With a K. And this book is by John Green, and it follows a guy named Colin. He's dated nobody but girls named Katherines. And Catherine with a K, because don't even get me started with Katherines with a C. No. And Colin is a prodigy. That's what he likes to call himself. He's really good in school stuff, you know, like math. And I like his character. He's like that weird guy who pops up and says some weird fact, and you're just like, but you can't help but love him. And recently, Colin got dumped by the 19th Catherine he's dated, and he wants to get her back. But he has a best friend, and so his best friend's having none of this. So they go on a road trip. That's all I'm going to give you. I gave this book 3 stars. It was good and all, but there was a point where I was like not shipping these 2 people because I knew they were going to end up together. And I was like, please don't let it happen. Please don't make this predictable. But it did, and I was like, what's the fucking point of this book? Book reference. It was still good. I liked it. So, I finished another book series this month, and that was the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. My book base too. And this series ended really well. I can't tell you that much about it again because you should read the rest of them. Oh, this doesn't fit. That wouldn't make sense. So, yeah. I love the Lux series, and yeah, I finished it, and you should go read it because it's great. I read An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. Nailed it. And this book, I give it 3 stars. I liked it. It wasn't the best book. It also, no, this is different. This has fair folk. I don't know if those are similar or the same to fairies. I feel like when authors write about fairies, they don't give descriptions about who they are. Because there's fairies like Tinkerbell Fairy, and then there's fairies with an E. And I'm not sure if those fairies are the same or if they're different. And then, what's the hunt? No one tells me who the hunt is, and I have to be there and be like, I totally know what you're talking about. And that doesn't just count for this book. It also counts for other books too about fairies, and I know they can't lie and they're pretty, but like I need more insight on them because others are like, oh, we already know you know about fairies. I'm just like, I don't. This book follows a girl named Isabel, and she's a painter, and fair folk come along and she paints them, and they love her paintings. And also in the Autumn Court Prince, his name is Rook. His name is Rook. And he goes to Isabel's place and she paints him. And she paints him with sad eyes. And Rook is like, I ain't having none of this. And then takes Isabel away to go to the Autumn Court to pay for her crimes. But something happens along the way, and then they're thrown off track and set out in the woods, and it's just them. And as they might have some romance in here. This book was good. 3 stars at the most. I love the writing style though. Like the way the author would describe stuff was really cool. It was like kind of magical. But the story plot line, not my favorite. If you like books about fairies and fair folk and other places where people get transported, you'll like this. So I have not read the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. I have read Six of Crows. And I've always wanted to read Shadow and Bone, but I have to like buy it because my library doesn't have it. So I am putting that off for now. But I did read Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo. And this book is a collection of stories in the whole Grishaverse area. And you could read some parts of the Shadow and Bone to understand this more. I didn't read it, but I read Six of Crows and I understood it. I don't know how it'd be if you hadn't read any of that and just picked up this, but these are the fairy tales I never had. Like, honestly, these are really good fairy tales. So just know it's a bunch of stories that take part in the Grisha world, and a lot of them are pulled from, based on other stories like Beauty and the Beast and all that. So yeah, I really recommend this book. So the last book in March I read was an ARC I got because I want to give away. And that book was Brightly Burning by Alex Donay. I think I pronounced that right. And this book comes out May 2018. And it is a sci-fi novel. And it's a retelling of Jane Eyre by somebody. And follows this girl, Stella, and she lives on one ship, and these ships are in space. And she goes and moves to another ship, the Rochester, and there's a captain there. Ship, people are telling her weird things about the ship, and it may or may not be haunted. But for fans of Jane Eyre, I have never read that book, but it's a pretty good book if you like romance and sci-fi and are a fan of Jane Eyre, you like this book. I did. I give it 4 stars. Okay, so those were all the books I read in March. And feel free to recommend me some books. Or tell me what you think of my reviews. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I have Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter. So, yeah. Bye!